Hey, everybody. Welcome to Beyond CMY, Going Beyond CMYK. We are going to have a really cool presentation. But before we start, I just want to say that the chat is open and we've got plenty of friendly folks from Xerox in there available to answer any technical questions you might have during the webinar. And if you don't have a technical question, if you just have a human type question, type it in and Team Xerox will get me those questions if we do have time for that. If not, I'm sure Xerox will follow up with everybody after the webinar, and we will be able to handle everything that way. So just to start, my name is Deborah Corn, and I'm this intergalactic ambassador to the Printiverse, and I run a website called Print Media Centr, where we provide information, resources, and printspiration to print and marketing professionals. And part of the things we do are have education. Online education obviously has become more topical. So it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Tracey Koziol.
No,
I did.
Yes.
Tracey Koziol. She is the Senior Vice President of Global Offering Solutions for Xerox, a member of their executive committee, and was appointed Senior Vice President of Xerox Holding Corporations in May of 2019. Congratulations for all of that. She is responsible for products and solutions strategy, planning and execution, covering the graphic communications and workplace solutions technology. Welcome, Tracey.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I prefer your title. I think I'm going to have to find something far more, uplifting than what you just said.
Well, speaking of uplifting, on a personal note, before we start, I just want to tell my Xerox story because it all started off, believe it or not, with Chris Ehrlich. And Chris Ehrlich came to speak on one of my panels at a industry event. And when I first saw him, and Xerox was, there were other companies that were talking about inkjet a little before Xerox was, and they were kind of, owning that space at the time. And Chris came over and I was like, oh God, this poor guy, he's going to get demolished by these guys who've been speaking about this for like 2 years. And he sat on that panel and he gave them a run for their money like I have never seen before, pushing back, asking questions, challenging technology choices. And from that moment on, I was just like, who is this guy? What are they doing at Xerox? And I need to know everything about what's going on here, because the passion he had for what your equipment was doing to help your customers and them to help their customers was on a different level. So through him, I met Gary Walker, and then I met Evelyn and Andrew. And through all of that, we came to partner for Project Peacock in 2019. And Xerox is one of the success stories from that event. Now, Project Peacock was a traveling roadshow where we showed new opportunities with print to buyers and creatives from advertising agencies and brands. And the reason why Xerox had such success at those events is exactly why we are here today. Beyond CMYK had the buyers and the brands 5 deep at your table, looking at samples and grabbing samples and taking them home. And it wasn't even the amazing things were amazing to them, but I just want to stress that they had never seen white ink, some of these people. So even just showing them that blew them away. So you can imagine what all of your new capabilities are going to bring this year, which is what I'm so happy to announce that Xerox is once again partnering for Project Peacock, and we will be putting on 4 online events with the Advertising Production Club of New York City, where I serve as an advisory board member. So connect with Print Media Centr, connect with Xerox, and you'll get all the information about when those are coming up. And the last thing I want to mention, Tracey, I'm sorry that I'm taking up this time, is on behalf of all the girls who print out there, I just want to thank you and your organization for truly, truly supporting us. You guys walk the walk for women in the industry, and you lead by example. And quite frankly, you are an example, Tracey. So I am so happy that you have chosen to spend some of your precious time with us and help everybody understand the value of your organization, the programs that you are developing to actually help your customers reach the end users, which I consider my people. So thank you so much for all of that. And so let's get into it, okay? Prior to Xerox, you held senior positions at Dell and Motorola. I think you were responsible for Hello Moto, right? Is that you? Hello Moto?
It was during the time, if there's people on here that are old enough to remember that, yes.
Oh, well, thank you. I remember Hello, because I still use it. I'm like, oh, Hello Moto. I still say that to people.
Yeah.
So a storied career. How did you end up here?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, right? I wasn't really, I've been in the mobile phone industry really for majority of my career. And I was actually in a little startup. I was taking a break from corporates, and yeah, as you do in startups, I was working 18 hours a day. It was mobile music for emerging markets, so quite interesting. But you know, I got pinged. You know, got this opportunity. You know, you're interested. I almost didn't actually kind of even tell my husband about it. And then I went home and I said, you know, hey JC, Xeroxer, and goes, don't you know I actually started at Xerox? I'm like, are you kidding? That's never come up. He goes, yeah, rank Xerox. He goes, they're a great company. They're innovative and they have amazing people. You should go and take the interview. And I'm like, okay. Well, I did. I took his advice. I definitely knew about the innovation side. You know, being at Motorola, we had a large R&D. And so we had come across, you know, sharing of ideas, especially around user interface and such. And of course, you know, Xerox were right there at the forefront, right, of so many breakthroughs, internet and X-ray and what have you. So I went for the interviews, and I tell you what shone through immediately for me, and it's still here to this day, is the real approach to diversity and inclusion and people. The people here are really something special. So, and how can that show through, like when you've gone through 3 or 4 interviews? But it did. And so I decided to take a chance, and they took a chance on me, right? No print experience whatsoever, and they didn't trust me. They put me in entry, right, you know, in the small area to learn the trade. And as I was saying, the most wonderful thing here at Xerox are people are generous. So fortunately, there was lots of generous people, started to learn, and honestly, I was amazed very quickly, you know, being in technology, high tech for a long time. This isn't like engineering, this is a science, right? In terms of throwing particles onto paper and the quality and so I was pretty hooked early and then very fortunate. I've had a lot of, you know, great team, and I've managed to work my way from entry to mid to production. So very fortunate, very proud to run the group.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us today and for giving us that background information so everybody can understand where you're coming from. So let's dive right into a conversation. 2020 was certainly the year of the pivot. And so looking at a from a state of an industry standpoint, being from such a prominent part of the industry as Xerox, what has changed for you over there, and how did you truly hunker down and help cut your customers last year? Sorry.
Yeah, you know, because we're almost obviously a year, you know, before we were mostly sent home. A lot of our population sent home to work. And, I think the first thing I want to say about Xerox was those values that shine through, that attracted me to the company, shine through with the pandemic. The first thing for us was everybody was like, what can we do for our community? What can we do to help people? And, that's the great thing about having a fantastic engineering and business groups, is we immediately looked at what qualities do we have, what capabilities. We made ventilators. We, made hand sanitizer. We actually even took filters from our iGen, which were N95 material, right, and make masks and deliver those into the local hospitals in Rochester. So that immediate thing was, how can we help, the community? But then very, very quickly, it's like, well, goodness, our customers and our partners have got to be going through hell right now. And what can we do? So we actually did a global day of caring for our customers and partners, where we actually contacted over 700 of our partners and customers. And we didn't try to sell anything. We just said, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything we can do? How can we help you? And it was extremely successful. We obviously were able to learn what is it that they needed, and wanted. And, we actually pivoted very quickly. I think probably quicker than I'm going to say than some of the competition, in terms of like really moving quickly. Some of the things they obviously asked for is, okay, so while it's a little bit quiet, can we go through training? Can you help us with our skills? Can you help our operators be more productive at the presses? We rose to the occasion, and we put, virtual training in place. We updated our resources. And the other thing was, we really needed this community. And this is where, like Deborah, you and your organization and many others are critical, right? This community of sharing what's going on right around the industry. Some places obviously were doing great guns, right? Healthcare, the government, that business actually went up. But then you had areas in graphic comms, that obviously you need social, you need, to really have the graphic side of it play well. And so we ended up being a resource to help, the partners and customers say, hey, this is where we're seeing growth. This is where we think, things are missing for you, and can we help you to build that?
I love that your first stop was your community and the country, and how can you step up to help the people around us, and then broaden that out to, okay, now that we know we're providing ventilators and masks and things that people need to be safe. Now let's drill down a little more. So important that we all think that way now, about everything around us is part of us, and we need to keep it afloat. I'm very focused on the retail stores and the restaurants right now. And print, there's an amazing opportunity for print, and especially this thinking beyond CMYK, to help non-professional print customers understand really and truly how print can help them keep their businesses open. So let's move into that now, and let's frame this under bringing new value to print. And I'm going to turn on a slide while you answer the first question. But what is your strategy, or how is Xerox thinking about how printers can bring more value to the page?
Yeah, I think one of the things that came out, through the pandemic, and we're obviously still there, is it's not just about surviving, right? You need to look at how can you thrive. And so, that means you've got to, help yourself differentiate. You need to be, obviously, you've got to increase your visibility of what you can do, and how to go about actually even getting those services. And, you want to boost the dwell time, as it says here. and you want to encourage that repeat engagement. So you've got to have an amazing customer experience, right? And usually, obviously, the customers are wanting the same thing that you is, which is more custom. I need to stand out in the crowd. I need to get more loyalty from my customers. And so, this is absolute. Beyond CMYK is absolutely an element here that can help in all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as an attitude, what else, how can I get myself out of the conversation or out of the battle for 2 cents on a copy, on a postcard, on a fighting in that commodity situation with everybody else. So how much do you account for helping your clients move away from those commodity conversations and more into the value-added conversations? Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of critical. I think that we are there as a support. I think, as coming into sort of the pandemic, we were already kind of leaders in Beyond CMYK, but it was kind of available really at the high end of print. And what we wanted to do was make it more available to all of our large our print customers, whether it's a small franchise all the way up. And so what we found was that we needed to give them more than just the technology, right? They needed more help in terms of what could Beyond CMYK do for them, and how do they apply it? How do they sell it? How do they market it? And, I think standing out in the crowd is a must, right? So perhaps, Deborah, maybe it's a good time to just run the sizzle wheel and just
Sure.
go what, eye-catching can do, I think.
Okay, no problem. If you can just turn off your mic and your video before I start so we don't overlap, and I'm going to push it now.
Color is a funny thing.
We have the whitest white, the brightest white.
It's optic yellow.
Shiny, sparkly, happy, right?
What gets me even more excited is I can do this all in one design.
Fluorescent color is the core definition of the word exuberant.
The pop, popping a pop.
So you call that the sizzle reel?
We do. Yeah, I mean, I love it, of course, because I love seeing our team members are real, crazy scientists and engineers that are absolutely passionate about when we are talking about, optic yellow, it is spot on, and showing that vibrancy and obviously getting the repetitiveness, is a must. So there, I think, you've got a good example of, wow, what can be done, right, with Beyond CMYK.
So I think you covered what the strategy was behind what your Beyond CMYK strategy was. So I want to move to people, some of your customers who are actually have taken it on, have taken you up on this offer to offer really more services, which we haven't even gotten into yet. But so how is it helping them drive new revenue? And I'm actually going to put up another slide while you're talking.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I mean, so look, there is, proven data out there that, when you put a piece of print out there that makes you stand out in the crowd, that people are willing to pay more for it, right? So it makes your brand look, more premium. It's the dwell time we talked about right before. And so, these figures that are up here on the screen are sort of pretty remarkable still. To think that the first part, the 0.5% of production color digital print. That's it in terms of enhancements. There's so much more opportunity there, right?
I can't believe that.
No, I know.
I think I have all this print samples then with that much in my house.
Yes. So I think in a world where it's very interesting, because I think yes, print obviously is down. People aren't in the offices. However, when you think about working at home, I've seen more print come through, right? The mail, the direct mail and such. And I can tell you the things that I pick up first are the ones that have, are eye-catching, or they've got some kind of textile feel on them. And then the third thing for sure is if it's personalized. If it's very tastefully done and it's personalized to me, I pick those up. So there's definitely there opportunities of touching, your customers, and really standing out in the crowd. And with that, there's definitely facts around that customers are willing to pay, between, I think it's like 30% to, over 100% more, right? So that brings more revenue, more profit in, which of course is very important about expanding, people's business. So that's been, some of the success stories that we have, right? And again, we've got a lot when we talk about, say, Iridesce. One of the companies that has really, engaged is Printing Ink. And I literally just got samples today of their little data book. And I know it's difficult to probably see here, but I've been looking at this. I've been looking at this sample on and off all morning because it's just mesmerizing, right? I mean, I can't stop looking at it, and that's because it's white, it's clear, and there's an element here of fluorescence in it, and it has the intent, that it's set out to do, and so we are seeing customers really take this on board.
I can't speak about whether or not in this particular moment in time, the people I'm speaking to in the advertising agencies are necessarily willing to pay more, but they are keenly focused on standing out every way possible and are really entertaining conversations about smaller, more targeted, and more specialized marketing from the brand. So squarely in the wheelhouse of the trends that I believe are going to everyone's going to start seeing them in the marketplace, and they're going to continue into next year for sure. Okay, so I'm not a technical person, but the topic of ink comes up a lot, and there are choices out there. So I just want to bring this up for my printer friends in the audience, although I will admit I might not understand the answer to the question, but it has been posed, so I'd like to pass it along for you. Are there challenges with specialty dry ink?
Look, I'm going to say not really. The formulations, are very, similar. The adherence, all those, we're about quality, right? And we're not going to put something out there that is, difficult to handle or has inconsistencies. Just not going to do that. Again, I think our portfolio of being able to take it from, we have an A3 printer that can do white, all the way through, a prime link device that can do fluorescence and metallics as an adaptive kit, up through obviously Iridesce and iGen. And yes, we're standing behind it. There's nothing here that you have to do special.
I just want to, Andrew got the question for Edwin in the chat. He was asking about the stats that we just showed where it was based, and it was UK, American based. I'm pretty sure not UK based. Okay, so Now you have this portfolio of new opportunities. You have ways in which now you need to help your customers help their customers, which is, I have to say, it's something that all the manufacturers say that they do, okay? But I'm on a lot of the receiving end of those conversations where I hear printers regurgitating the reasons they bought the press to the print customer. And if I can tell you that those reasons are very far apart for why I care about using that press, if, for an example, someone telling me something goes X amount of meters a minute doesn't mean anything to me. But if it's posed as, we've got a really fast press, but you don't need to care about that, or what you need to care about is that you have more time to do your job. And I'm sitting in an advertising agency or brand thinking a day is a year. If I can get an extra day, if there's less time between I give my file in till it's printed, if there's a different proofing process, if I'm not sending out for plates or embossing or all of that, it becomes a very interesting value proposition that supports maybe paying a little more money for things like that. Timing has moved up the list of what print customers care about. So I want to move now into your Genesis initiative, because once I heard about it, I was so excited that we were going to be able to discuss it on this webinar. So if you can give us an overview, and then I know that we have a video we're going to play after. Go ahead, Trace. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, so look, after we talked about, we give them the technology, but then does everybody have a designer on staff? Do you really know how to, build a strong, even set of samples? Like I was just showing, how are you going to get the word out? How are you going to price it, right? How does that work? And then, how does that fit into your overall portfolio, and how do you go to sell? CMYK Plus can be almost, like a halo as well, to bring more business, right? So we believe that we needed to give additional help. And so Project Genesis was really created to deliver on this, right? So, we need to help the customers be able to create, right? So connecting with creatives, and even in every shop, we've got templates, easy, templates for you to get going, just, going from 4 color onto, bringing in the 5th color, etc. How do you layer, right? How do you create texture? And, so there's the creative part. And of course, the thing here, even for the designers, it's only a little bit of a smidge extra of expanding what you can do with Adobe, right? Then, the next part, like I talked about, we tell you how you can, how do you price it? How do you build up the cost to make sure that you truly are, you're going to make sure that you're going to, price it correctly? How do you communicate, right? So what became apparent too, that's really nicely netted in, is that XMPie, right, becomes very much an important place as well. So we talk about embellishment, we talk about, personalization, having the ability to actually be able to sell online. We put all these elements together, and Project Genesis really is that. So we focus around helping the customers to design, to market, price, and sell. Sounds easy, but actually this is an area that they were really, some were struggling, right? And I
concur.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're doing. And, if anyone knows me, I'm a say-do kind of girl. So when we say that we're going to, set this up, we're absolutely, fully committed to helping our customers and partners make the most out of their technology, and to make them, thrive, right? I said it earlier, not survive, thrive.
Right. Something you touched upon is just so important, and it's definitely a gap. Manufacturers are, like, you should, get this press and do that, and, start this type of business, and then kind of leave people to figure out for themselves, how do I price this new thing that I've never sold before? How do I find a supply chain for this thing that I've never done before? Maybe I need a new set of finishing partners, or need new finishing. So I'm really happy that you're now helping them formulate their pricing around it, and then going that step further and helping them sell it in a creative way. And this is the whole point. This is creative print. The samples must speak for themselves without anybody there. You guys actually sent me a sample kit, and just looking at the yellow warning card, I became fascinated by it. Now, other people see it as a neon yellow thing that's telling danger, danger, danger. I saw it as a remarkable creative opportunity. And, as I always say in the advertising agencies, I'm mildly creative, because there's real creatives there. So get people a sample kit, just like Project Peacock, give it to them and let them come up with ideas, but show them, what the possibilities are. So at the end of the day, Tracey, the printers are your customers. You need to keep them happy. You need to keep them productive. You need to keep them profitable. So asking for them, what's in it for them in all of this?
Well, I think, what will help them is with standing out in the crowd. Is going to help them to build back up business, right? To stand, to be able to bring the profits, back and maximize the assets that they have. I think, we kind of brushed over it, but for some of those, smaller print shops, they have, a C60 or a Prime Link in their shop. You just have to, we've now got these kits. No one else has them, right? Adaptive kits that you literally slide, the additional colors in. And in 15 minutes, you are now suddenly, you're not just printing normal stuff. You can now do graduation. You can do wedding invitations. You can do, you suddenly lifted you've made the applications that you can do. There's so much more you can do, right? So for us, it's definitely about making our partners and customers successful, helping them grow, right? Maximize the revenue on what they have, get the best ROI possible, and help them differentiate.
What do you think that they're embracing the most about this opportunity?
It's interesting because as they go through the program, they actually seem to embrace the step they're in, for them, right? So the first part where we, come in and we do sort of, a business develop kind of like, bring examples in, show them the possibilities. One of the things that is astounding to me is when you actually look at some basic kind of applications and then you show what else, you can put on top of it. I have it here. I've done it a couple of times, but I swear this card here, it's got clear. It's got several layers of clear on it. It's always in front of me. It's something that pops. It's tactile. I never put this thing down during the day. I'm constantly playing with it. When you see this kind of value, and that this, you're able to put something in front of someone as a dwell time addition, there's going to be value for their customer. So we teach them in the beginning, what's the possibilities. When you get into the creative, some of them who really haven't done any, true design, getting that entrance into the application, right, by doing the templates is another like, oh my gosh, it's not that hard. Now, if they're still feeling uncomfortable, of course, we've got that great connection. Project Peacock, of course, plays a part here. And then we've got, we've got connection from creatives into the printers so that we, again, create that community. Don't be frightened, ask questions. And then I say, just building through, we really found that, the partners are kind of get excited more and more. Of course, the most exciting thing is when they do their first selection of, new Beyond CMYK plus applications, and they sell it. And the customer, not only says thank you, but they come back their second time, right? Yeah. That's the proof point. Yeah.
And there was a video that you guys sent me, but it was a little too long to show. And it was literally how simple it was to go into Illustrator and just add a neon pink to art and change it out. And I'm sure that after the webinar, when you guys follow up with everybody, you could send that link.
Yeah.
And
hey, Deborah, you and I could do that.
We could, honestly. I was looking at how simple it was, yeah. but that's really, important. And again, I'm going to, be representing the print customers on this call, so to speak. But it's one thing to say, oh, it's really easy, and then I have been on the other end of, oh, it's really easy, six people, an IT person, and, trying to calibrate things, across the planet was not a simple thing. So, some customers are jaded with that type of talk. Showing them how simple it is the best thing. Whether you jump on a Zoom with your pre-press person and just say, look, we're going to do this together step by step, or you send them the video, or the printers out there are constantly communicating with their customers about just educational new opportunities. It's really simple. Hey, do you want to, who's got 10 minutes to take an Adobe tutorial, and that's all it takes. And providing them with those tools that have been developed for that exact educational purpose is really putting your customers a bit ahead in this conversation. Now, certainly other manufacturers do this. I'm not saying that they don't, but you've seen results, correct? Tell everyone how this is actually helping your customers strengthen their collaborative relationships with customers, because this is what I see here. I see Genesis as an opportunity for collaboration, which means that a printer gets that call. We're thinking about doing something. What do you think? As opposed to, here's a file, enjoy yourself. No, that's not what I want. Let's go through, 20 proofs to get what I want.
Yeah. So I sort of mentioned it, the creating it's corny, but it's true, a customer for life, right? So when you start to show a customer, that you can bring, additional value that in turn returns ROI. So definitely for CMYK Plus, like in a lot of the printers have found education, right? So the colleges and then, of course, on the other side, even on the invitations side of things. So as they're adding value, and charities is the other one. When you're trying to raise money, for a good cause, you've got to stand out in the crowd. And so for the customers that have started to really embrace this, it's because they've become a trusted advisor, right, to the customer, that they're bringing something that helps them differentiate it. It's towards their cause. It's solving a problem or supporting. And so, yeah, I think it does lead to other things. Like I said, it's almost like a halo. You go in, you show some value. There's a bit of, ROI shows up. And then suddenly it's like, well, you know what? We'll go back to that same person because I think we should try something else.
Yeah.
So that's
all right. So along those lines, we're going to play another short video that I actually requested because I love this video. And then we're going to talk about 2020 and looking ahead.
Okay.
Tracey, if you could just turn off your audio and video.
Yep, sorry.
We had 4 cats at the time. Cat prints. We're always on everything. So I said, well, let's call it cat print.
Our customers are coming from all across the US and Canada.
I think we really try to cater towards that specialty designer that really focuses and cares a lot about the quality of the work that they want done.
Every single piece of paper that we produce and ship out is going to one person, and so it's got to be really special.
We really use the features of the iGen to expand our product offerings beyond what a traditional printer can do.
We wanted to use these really nice, beautiful, high-quality textured papers.
The white ink, the clear ink.
Xerox supported us through the entire process, and they've always allowed us to push the envelope a little bit.
Our goal is to empower our customers to add more value to their clients.
I know that the quality of work that I'm producing is going to be exemplified through the print quality that they have, but they have a creative side in regards to how they've grown.
Through the specialty substrates, through the embellishments like white and clear, allowing them to expand what's possible with digital today.
Things have been huge, and we've seen a number of years where, right in a row, 20-30% growth.
But they've just started to scratch the surface, and the technology is capable of so much more.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Lots of girls who print in that video. It's amazing.
Indeed.
Yeah. I just love, she's so excited. She's like, we had cats, so we called it cat print.
Yes. Yep. That's showing passion.
It totally is. Okay. We are allegedly in 2021. I'm currently calling it 2020.1 was January, 0.2 is February, until I kind of hit that moment where I feel like it's a new year, but still it is a new year. And now is really when everybody is planning their strategies, looking at, where they need to be at the end of the year. So what can printers look forward to in your mind, whether it's coming from Xerox or in general? And as a leader in the industry, how are you feeling about this year with your crystal ball and any kind of I don't want to say advice, but just thoughts on, I'm going to frame it as hanging in there.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is certainly still, a difficult time, but I'm going to use actually words that you used last time we chatted, which is there's lots of white space. There is lots of opportunity, and you have to get your mind, ready for that. Now, what we need to do, is we need to help our customers, right? We've got 3 pillars this year, all coming from when we talked to them, last year. And it's a continuing conversation. That's the most important thing. But we have to help them be more productive. We've got to make sure that they are the best in terms of their people, that they're not wasting any time, effort, that they're, producing as best, to the ability of both the operator and the press. So that's very important. So workflow, automation, we're concentrating on analytics. More information means more power, and so that's something that we're concentrating on. We're talking about making sure, again, it's important we give more value as well for some of the investments they've already made, right? So, for us, it's about that you're kind of in safe hands with us. We're going to continue to build on some of the platforms that we have, to try and ensure that you are going to get the best, again, the ROI side. The other side is, though, it is time to invest. Beyond CMYK is an opportunity, I think, to grow and to make you stand out in the crowd. The other thing I think that we, in the second half of the year, and certainly coming in, that last customer, they are only web to print. So so e-commerce is going to be something that we're going to have to get professional about and help our customers there as well. I think the stat there is that 50% of American printers do not have any capability for e-commerce.
La, 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 la. I'm just going to put my earmuffs on for that one.
It's, and, we all know the pandemic has caused us all to do, we do so much more, right, through online. I do think obviously there's a place for face-to-face, but you're going to have the tools that people are used to. And so we have to help them modernize. So things like XMPie, we talked about productivity with Free Flow Core, and things like Predict Print that we just brought out, right? The automation through, the press taking, again, if you take my mind, if you make $1 saving, then put 33% of it towards, the future, right?
Yeah.
Try and put some money back into investment to broaden your capabilities. And look, we're here to help and support, and we're certainly open to feedback. We're not perfect, but there's opportunity out there. It's not all negative.
There really is, and if I may, I'd like to echo two things that you just said. The first is that what I call holes in the wine list. What are your customers not doing? What are people in your marketplace not doing? And have the conversations about that, not replacing something someone's already doing, but adding value to their life in a way that they're not currently utilizing it. And beyond CMYK, that's why I keep saying it's an attitude. You have to say, okay, you can just do ink on paper, that's fine, but we can take this to the next level. And there are even levels beyond that with applying marketing technology and other ways to make print a digital bridge, other ways of thinking of print as a keepsake. I think that the printing industry is missing a gigantic opportunity in the game space as far as I'm concerned. Comic-Con, those people will spend any amount of money on a book about a video game. They will keep it on their shelf in the wrapper it came in and not touch it. And we really need to get a lot more immersed in that kind of evolution of culture, because that's what it is. There are so many times that people want to, and I'm sorry I'm rolling my eyes, but they want to, land us all in the print versus electronic conversation. And it is such a useless conversation. The people who have giant marketing budgets are fully capable of deciding how they want to spend that money. Telling them that people like to touch paper is not going to change that account strategist's mind of how they're dividing their marketing budget between online and print. But when you start to show more engagement from the print, if you there are ways of tracking it now. Certainly, QR codes and anything that leads to online or leads to a website that people can then apply the digital marketing to after, all becomes part of this ecosystem of beyond CMYK, and it starts with something shiny. That could be the door opening conversation. So I echo everything that you are, putting forth into the industry and helping people. The last thing I want to echo is I've been on a mantra since last year: data for decisions. I'm making data for decisions. Do I really need that jar of macadamia nuts this month? I'm just to put it in a human term, but if you look at the marketing budgets, it's like, what am I really going to get out of this if I'm spending it? Because, they're tight. So at every opportunity, if you can provide some sort of stats or information about trends and marketing and how people gravitate towards shiny things, or it makes them feel more special, it engages with them. We had this conversation the other day at Print Chat. Like, there's a big difference between getting a happy birthday email and a greeting card. You can't compare it, right?
No, you can't. My brother just called Friday. He's become a granddad. And I just realized that means that I'm a great auntie, which I'm not keen with. But the first thing I did, even in a pandemic, was I couldn't use my little XMPie app that I have on my machine at home. I wanted proper pucker. I just spent $10 on a card that has gold, silver, it stands out, it's and that's what I did, because that is, it's an emotional attachment, and it's something that
Exactly.
they will keep. It's their first grandchild. It's right. So for me, I've been actually sending more of personal stuff, right? My mum and dad are in the UK. I can't see them. I talk to them. You know, this is fine, but they love getting cards from us, you know? So that's what we do.
Yeah, but to expand that, it's the same thing when I get a package and it's got something shiny in it or something that I believe somebody spent money on. And that is a way of representing a business. That is a way of representing products and services if you're trying to, if you're creating materials for that. So all of it matters. It's not just about, oh, designers want to be designy. It is a business strategy to think and to go beyond CMYK. So I just want to thank you so much for spending your time here with us today. I'm actually going to put up a call to action slide. So if people want to get in touch, and I guess if there's any final words you want to add.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of, you know, actually that samples, right? Showing what's possible. So we do have some sample kits. So please, you know, visit xerox.com/creative and, you know, get in contact with there. We'll show you what can be done, right? All the way from, I said, the A3 printers all the way up. What's possible with us? And learn more about Genesis, right? If you're still not sure, please reach out. We won't disappoint you. I really think we can help. So thanks so much, Deborah.
You are very welcome. I do know from speaking to a few people that there's a limited supply of those sample kits. So I would just say that if you're interested, I'm not even sure why you're still on this webinar and haven't gone over there to sign up to get one. So please do that. There has been some conversation in the chat, but from what I see, Team Xerox has handled it marvelously. So without anything else, which I don't think that there is, I just want to once again thank you and thank everybody out there for choosing to spend your time with us. Connect with Tracey on LinkedIn. Reach out to your local rep, whether it's to get samples to show your customers or to get a demo on this machine or get access to everything beyond CMYK that will help your business grow. So thank you, everybody, so much. I'm going to turn off the webinar now. Print long and prosper.
Thank you. Stay well.